I'll ask Commissioner Smith to do the invocation, and will remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Father, we thank you for your grace and goodness. May your face continually shine upon us, so that your ways may be known in our communities. Amen.
Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, the first item on the agenda is Chief Laird with an employee recognition.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. I appreciate you giving me a couple minutes tonight to recognize the efforts of one of our police officers. Each year we do an annual award ceremony where we take them, a couple hours to recognize the work all throughout the year that our officers do. But this particular incident that I wanted to talk about tonight was something that I didn't feel I could wait. So we give out several awards throughout the year. One of those awards is the Meritorious Service Award, and that can be awarded to an officer if three criteria are met. The first part is a highly unusual accomplishment by the employee under highly adverse conditions with some degree of hazard to the life and safety of the employee, where death or injury is prevented, or death or injury to another is prevented. So a little bit about what happened. On June 29th, 2025, Paducah Police Officer Brooke Adams displayed extraordinary bravery and decisiveness during an active shooter incident at the Greyhound bus station. Officer Adams was responding to a business to look for a missing adult when she spotted a man matching the description at the bus station. She circled the block to get out and talk to the man, and as she pulled through the parking lot, she saw a man actively shooting at bystanders. Simultaneously, other officers were being dispatched to the bus station for the report of a person being shot. Without hesitation, Officer Adams confronted the armed man and successfully took him into custody, preventing further harm to innocent bystanders and no harm to the suspect. Her swift actions undoubtedly saved lives and exemplify the highest standards of courage, duty, and service. And for those actions, Officer Brooke Adams is being awarded our second highest honor, the Meritorious Service Award. Brooke, would you come forward? Use the new backdrop.
Yeah. Yeah. I got to step back and get my phone. I'll have to
Congratulations, Officer Adams.
Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much. The commission supports our police force. We have a great police force, and this is just an example of all the great work that we do in the city of Paducah. And I just want to say how supportive the commission is of the work that our police force does, and thank you again, Brooke, for your brave actions that night. Okay, from there we will move. I have a recognition tonight, and so I'll ask Pam Russell to come up. So Pam, it's very nice to meet you earlier. As I said, I've been friends with your mom and dad for a long time, but one of the great things I get to do as mayor is recognize people doing great things, especially people that are originally from Paducah and when they come home. And we have an award called the Duke and Duchess of Paducah Award. So I want to read a little bit about you, because I just found out about this in the last couple of days. But Pam Russell, for the sake of everybody else here, is a 33-year veteran of the music industry. She began working as a receptionist for Lee Greenwood, Lee Greenwood's manager, Larry McFadden, in 1985. Sorry to age you a little bit. And quickly rose through the ranks, eventually serving as Vice President of Sales and Marketing. Her visionary leadership helped shape national retail strategies for the music industry and left a lasting mark on the industry. She served on many boards, including the advisory board for the Murray State Music Business Program, and she sang with the Metro Nashville Chorus, one of the top Sweet Adeline's international choruses, and several Region 4 Sweet Adeline quartets. After retiring, Pam has returned to her hometown of Paducah to spend more time with her family and parents, Ray and Linda Wright. She enjoys travel walking and is an avid pickleball player, and I've already heard about some of your competitive prowess. In August 26th, now this is very noteworthy, Pam will be inducted into the 2025 Source Nashville Hall of Fame. Source Nashville honors professionals in the Nashville music industry who have made significant contributions to the field. And so Pam is receiving this honor for her contributions for her work with Larry McFadden Management, MCA Records, Mercury Records, and Universal Music Group. And so it is with my honor and distinct pleasure to be able to award you a Duchess of Paducah.
Thank you so much.
Okay, Greg Shelton, are you here? Mm-hmm. So Greg will make some introductions and talk about our summer youth participants. Good to have you, Greg.
Thank you. Good evening. Like I said, good evening. So I have here,
Make sure you get your steps in, right?
Demia Fields. Mainly she's helping with the summer camp, doing fun things with the kids, making sure that they're safe. Also, she helped with our Independence Day fireworks celebration. Extracurricular activities is Murray Trio, Hosey, and Black Corps and Rotary Society, and she's also a cheerleader. Her future plans is to go to college and to pursue nursing, where later she would like to become a NICU nurse. A NICU nurse, and labor and delivery. Thank you. Next, I have Isaiah Red. He's a dedicated high school senior student with a passion on hands-on work and learning new skills. He currently works with our Parks Department, gaining valuable experience in teamwork, responsibility, outdoor maintenance. After graduation, he plans to attend welding school to pursue a career in the trades, combining his work ethics with the desire to build a solid future. Thank you. Next, I have Elijah McPike. He is focused and driven in high school senior with a strong passion for football and a clear vision for his future. His priority goals are to play football at the highest level of the division of level. And he also commits to putting in the work on and off the field to make his dream a reality. Currently gaining hands-on experience through his role at the Parks Department, Elijah is also building a valuable life and job skills. While football remains his top priority, he prepares with a strong backup plan to include using the particular knowledge he develops today, creating a successful future, no matter what his life may lead. Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Greg.
Greg.
Sorry I failed to recognize you earlier. You've got a couple of students,
We
but
have many production errors around here. I've asked several people, what are we doing and what am I supposed to do? And we found out.
it's so glad to have you, Chris.
I have Susanna Southern. She's 16. She's going into her junior year. Some of her extracurricular activities are welding and rodeo. Her plans after school is to attend college and trade school while rodeoing.
Wow.
Also, I have Aiden Hilton. He's 17. He's going into his senior year. His extracurricular activities include football and wrestling. He's also a National Honor Society, and he plans on joining the workforce after graduating high school, which I think this is a community that's great for. We have a lot of trades and things that kids can get right into. And maybe we'll be fortunate enough to have him back with us at some point in time. I will say this, Aiden has worked in our fleet division, so he's helped out back there. And Susanna has worked in our facility maintenance division. One neat thing is when they come in, they're expected to work just like all employees. We have two really good summer interns here today, and I'm very proud of them. In fact, I think some of our full-time employees may have learned a thing or two from them. We have some really good students. So
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor, if I may, if we could have all those students come back up, and Mayor, would you mind to get a picture with
Yeah,
them in
I'd
front
love
of
to.
Yeah, so we can get all of our summer interns, and this is a program we're proud to participate in, and this is our second year of doing this, and as Chris mentioned, hopefully some of these students will come back and be part of Team Paducah in the future. But yeah, Mayor. Thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to the regular agenda. City Manager, are there any additions or deletions to the agenda?
Mayor, we have one addition to tonight's agenda under municipal orders, and that is a municipal order approving the contract with Make My Move, and we'll move that to item 2B.
Okay. All right. I have a statement I want to read. And I want to recognize one of our employees that's retiring from the city, John Perkins, who has been with the city for 39 years? Is that
34.
34 years? Okay.
Ish.
34 years-ish of dedicated service. And so I'll read the statement, then I'll make a couple comments. So on behalf of the City of Paducah, we extend our deepest gratitude and heartfelt congratulations to Jonathan Perkins as he retires after more than 34 years of dedicated service to our community as Finance Director. Jonathan, a certified public accountant, CPA, began his tenure in Paducah in March 1991 after serving in various roles in Missouri and Georgia, including the Assistant Finance Director for Savannah, Georgia. Jonathan brought a wealth of experience with him to Paducah and continued to grow in the more than 3 decades serving our community. We thank you, Jonathan, for helping Paducah achieve the Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting for 34 years, 34 consecutive years, in addition to our strong bond rating. Your commitment to financial soundness and transparency has made our community and city government stronger. Jonathan's commitment to excellence, integrity, and public service has left an indelible mark on our city. Throughout your tenure, you have always gone above and beyond to serve the residents of Paducah with professionalism. Your work on behalf of our organization is inspirational to other team members and our citizens, and has served to enhance our community. We wish you fulfillment in retirement. And we invite the public to join us for a celebration of John's service during a party in his honor on Wednesday, July 30th, 2025, from 2 to 4, right here in the City Hall atrium. So I just want to make a couple of personal comments about John. When I was first elected, one of the things that really attracted me, not necessarily to public service in general, but I knew if I were to be fortunate enough to be elected the first time, that I would be serving with a finance director and a finance department that was extremely well run. My background is in the private sector, where I have high value placed on finance and accounting, and I know from personal experience how important it is. My confidence in Jonathan and the finance department has proven to be true in my 5 years now as an elected official, and I am extremely proud as mayor to be able to say to our community that we are a well-run organization, financially and otherwise, and we're transparent, and I know that taxpayer money is well spent and well cared for, and Jonathan, you have been the leader that has brought us through that, so we all congratulate you. So, with that, we'll move to the consent agenda. Items on the consent agenda are considered to be routine by the Board of Commissioners and will be enacted by one motion and one vote. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a board member so requests, in which event the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered separately. The city clerk will read the items recommended for approval. Unless the commissioner would like an item removed for separate discussion, we've already removed one. Is there any other item? If not, then I'll ask the city clerk to please read the items recommended for approval.
And the item removed is item H, related to Paducah Junior College. Is that correct?
Correct.
Thank you. Approve minutes for the July 9th, 2025 Board of Commissioners meeting. Receive and file documents. Reappointment of Jill Durham, Storm Wilson, and J. Wayne Armbruster to the Civic Beautification Board. Said term shall expire July 1, 2029. Appointment of Jennifer Swanson to the Code Enforcement Board to replace Tim Meadows, whose term is expired. Said term shall expire July 22nd, 2028. Appointment of Rachel Robinson to the Paducah Human Rights Commission to replace Krista DeBrock, whose term has expired. Said term shall expire July 25th, 2028. Personnel actions, a municipal order authorizing the mayor to execute a contract with Paducah Transit Authority in the amount of $215,000 for public transportation services, a municipal order declaring the real property located at 816 South 12th Street, Paducah, Kentucky to be surplus property, transferring the property without compensation to Paducah Alliance of Neighbors for economic development purposes, and authorizing the mayor to execute the deed and all documents related to same. A municipal order declaring the real property located at 1201 Oscar Cross Avenue, Paducah, Kentucky, to be surplus property, transferring the property without compensation to Paducah Alliance of Neighbors for economic development purposes, and authorizing the mayor to execute the deed and all documents related to same. A municipal order authorizing the mayor to execute the certificate of approval for a plan of financing for the issuance of bonds by the Kentucky Bond Development Corporation for the benefit of Baptist Healthcare System Incorporated and its affiliates. A municipal order approving the purchase of one half-pack high compaction front loader 28 cubic yard body mounted on a 2026 Mack Terra Pro from Stringfellow in the amount of $379,868.56 through the Sourcewell Cooperative Purchasing Program Participation Agreement. A municipal order approving the purchase of one pack Mack KBF 20 brush loader mounted on a 2025 Freightliner M2 Plus from Stringfellow in the amount of $229,337 through the Sourcewell Cooperative Purchasing Program Participation Agreement. A municipal order approving the purchase of one sidearm Mack LR McNeilus 28-yard ZR from Atlantic in the amount of $438,751.70 through the Sourcewell Cooperative Purchasing Program Participation Agreement. A municipal order authorizing the Finance Director to make payment to Hudson Incorporated for the purchase of one John Deere 5100 cab tractor in the amount of $72,290.30 and a 520 M loader in the amount of $6,190.96 for the use of the Floodwall Division, and one John Deere Z920M Z-Track in the amount of $12,270.94 for the use by the Parks Department, for a total amount of $90,752.20, authorizing the mayor to execute all documents related to same. A municipal order accepting the bid for sale to the city of one crew cab dump truck in the amount of $95,665 for use by the Public Works Department Street Division, and authorizing the mayor to execute a contract for same. A municipal order accepting the bid of Linwood Motors for sale to the city of Paducah 9 patrol SUVs in the amount of $56,000 each, and one detective SUV in the amount of $52,000 for a total amount of $556,000 for use by the Paducah Police Department, and also authorizing the mayor to execute a contract for same. A municipal order authorizing the mayor to execute a declaration of trust and trust participation agreement with the Kentucky League of Cities Insurance Services for the Workers' Compensation Trust. A municipal order of the City of Paducah authorizing the mayor to execute a statewide emergency management mutual aid and assistance agreement.
So moved.
Second.
Call roll.
Commissioner Henderson?
Aye.
Commissioner Smith?
Aye.
Mayor Bray?
Aye. Congratulations, Rachel. Okay, we have two municipal orders to consider.
We'll have three tonight because of the removed H.
Sorry about that.
A proposed motion of the Board of Commissioners to adopt a municipal order entitled, "A Municipal Order Authorizing the Mayor to Execute a Contract for Services with Paducah Junior College Incorporated for the Community Scholarship Program in the amount of $100,000.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Commissioner Smith, you asked to have this pulled off the consent agenda, and so I'll let you
Okay,
kick it
sure.
off.
This is an agreement that has been set up for some time now. It's where the city and the county, and I think another entity, help fund the no-cost scholarships at WKCTC for local students. The amount of balance that is accumulating at WKCTC to fund this, there's a lot more money coming in than is going out for it. So my question is this something that this is not by any means not showing support for the program, but
Sure.
I don't know why as a habit, we just do our check mark where we get the money each year, but yet it's not going out so I'm just wondering whether there shouldn't be a year, 2 years, a few years hiatus from funding this because it's clearly overfunded. So I don't know, John, you could maybe talk a little bit about the balance,
Well,
accumulation of the balance, maybe.
let me just give these to you right quick so you can see everything.
Thank you. Thank you.
First off, Mayor, thank you for the kind words. I've been waiting 34 years for that.
Your dreams have been fulfilled.
Yeah,
Stay another 5 years and you just wait and see what you hear.
yeah.
Stay on track, people, stay on track.
This will be my last appearance as Finance Director here. Okay. What you have before you is just 6 years of history of this funding program. And my source of information is actually from the, as it says on the report there, the Junior College Scholarship Fund Report through West Kentucky Community Technical College, all the way through June of 2025. And I tried to give you the relevant information. There's 6 years of data that talks about how many dollars were given away for scholarships, and then the continuing accumulating balance. And the number that you see there in yellow, $2,920,000, that's what the current balance was as of June 30th, 2025. What this does not reflect is last year's contribution that the city made, I believe it was $100,000 as well. It's not here. It doesn't show that. So had that happened before June 30, then that would have broken a record for them. It would have been over $3 million in this balance. And what you're voting on tonight is for the year we're in now, next year, for another, I think it was 100,000. So I don't really have anything to add to that other than to tell you the numbers. If you have any questions, I can potentially address.
Let me provide a little bit of background because I serve ex officio on the PJC Foundation Board of Directors. And so this is, this is a topic that's been discussed a number of times. And back during COVID, we had been giving, first of all, when it was established, and I don't know the exact year because I wasn't involved, but I know that the city and county went in together to help establish a scholarship fund for any graduating, any person graduating out of one of our area high schools could go to WKCTC for 2 years at no charge. And now there are certain qualifications those students have to fulfill. But at the time when it was first established, it was really, hearkened as quite something that would really help students in our area make sure that everybody had the opportunity to go to college. And I think it's fulfilled that. And I think it's really a shining star in our community to be able to do that. Back during COVID, we cut our contribution back from 125 to 100. And I think it was, for a number of reasons, this being, I think, one of them. But since that time, we've had, as long as I've been mayor, we've had discussions about how we can provide more scholarships and make sure that we use the money. Because really, essentially, that's what we want to do. The money's there to educate our kids, and it's important that we use it. We've had a number of discussions. We've really never settled on anything, that would make a substantial difference, in this. One of the things that is always brought up to me, by the folks out at the foundation and WKCTC, is that this money, this amount of money, they want to keep to make sure that they could fund scholarships for everybody that's in at least the 8th grade, going into high school. So it takes a look back, at the students that are in the area high schools to be able to make sure that if all of those used that fund, they would be able to be educated. Of course, that's never happened. People go on out of state, don't go to WKCTC. Some people, pursue the trades, and don't use that. So that's a little bit the story of the conversation that we've had. I'm aware that this fund has been going up, but this is the recommended amount that we have for this particular year, and I think that my recommendation would be that we fund this amount this year, and set up a meeting with the folks at WKCTC and talk about how we can use these dollars for more scholarships, and then if we are not able to use those for more scholarships and significantly start using more of this fund, and we can make a decision to cut it back next year. So that's my input on it. I'm in favor of voting of putting this in this year, but I think your point is very well taken, and it's a point that I've made to the board on at least a couple of different occasions. They're aware of that, and of course, this discussion tonight, I think they will become acutely aware of
Okay,
that.
Great. Thank you. I'd just say, I think $3 million balance is pretty substantial. That's about, at the current rate, that's what, 7-8 years. It's already 7-8 years funded. So I don't think it's necessary. I would be in favor of just pausing the contribution. I know this also involves the county too and other entities. So, I think they could pause it till the balance gets down to something that is a little unnecessary. We could use the money to pay toward a bond or whatever, and if they ever come short, we're still here. So, we definitely would make them whole.
Well, I think we ought to, you already know, I think we ought to continue to give as we have been giving, because we may not be here. Okay? There may be so let's keep trying to make sure that its original intent takes place by continually giving the money as we have been giving it, and not cutting back. If this balance grows to $4 million, it just means the possibility of more kids going to school free of charge is there.
I don't know what the solution is. If they've looked at it and we're already giving scholarships to city and county kids, I don't know how you would change it, but I think just holding off a year would certainly give them time to figure it out for more facts. But I guess they were just ready to vote on it.
Well, I think regardless of how the vote goes tonight, and we will vote on it. We're short. We only got 3 of us, so it's we're going to have to look at each other.
Yeah.
But I do think that what would be appropriate is that we ask WKCTC, a representative of that scholarship fund, to come and present to the commission, exactly how that money's being utilized and how they can justify the fund to keep growing like that, so that we're better informed and maybe make a more informed decision, going forward. So, any more discussion?
I'm good. Thank you.
I'd ask the city clerk to call roll.
Commissioner Henderson?
Aye.
Commissioner Smith?
No?
Mayor Bray?
Aye. Okay, the next item to discuss is, and Darren, I'll turn this over to you. It's the KPDI grant for the spec building.
That's Madam Clerk,
I'll
to
ask
read.
Madam Clerk to please read first.
A proposed motion of the Board of Commissioners to adopt a municipal order entitled, "A Municipal Order of the City of Paducah, Kentucky, authorizing the city to provide local match funding and serve as the grantee with the Kentucky Product Development Initiative grant as awarded for the Industrial Park West Speculative Building located at 5700 Commerce Drive, Paducah, Kentucky."
So moved.
Second.
Mayor and Commission, this is a follow-up to previous action that the Commission has taken, and that was to support the application by from GPED and the IDA to the state for a grant for the construction of a spec building, 100,000 square foot spec building. This body previously made a commitment to doing that, and then most recently made a commitment to fully fund the delta up to $6 million of that, the $2 million grant. Anticipated cost of that spec building to be in the $8 million ballpark. As part of the requirements of receiving that $2 million grant, the state has asked the city to be the recipient of that grant, and also to make a resolution that shows that we will have in fact taken the full action to say that we'll pay up to $6 million of that. And so that's what this formalizes the action that the Commission previously took, and does so with also accepting as the grantee from the KPDI program.
Questions?
No.
No questions? Okay. Call roll, please.
Commissioner Henderson?
Aye.
Commissioner Smith?
Aye.
Mayor Bray?
Aye. And then we have an item, I'll ask the clerk to read the next one.
A proposed motion of the Board of Commissioners to adopt a municipal order entitled, "A Municipal Order Authorizing the Mayor to Execute a Contract with TMAT LLC, DBA Make My Move, in the amount of $20,000 for talent attraction program services."
So moved.
Second.
Good
Ms. Cole?
evening. Tonight, what you have is the yearly Make My Move contract. This is strictly just for renewal. This is the third year that we've done it, and in fiscal '24, we had 6 movers, and in fiscal '25, we had 7 movers, and so far for fiscal '26, we have 16 offers that are out. What we've learned, and Nancy really is the in-house person that is the expert on this, so if you have any technical questions, she's here, but she really didn't want to come up and
Could we get
talk.
Nancy up there here with you? I mean,
If you can talk her into it, that was her deal. She said, "Carol, I'll go, but I don't want to talk." But she is the expert. She knows.
yeah, thank you, Nancy. And Nancy and I were on a call with Make My Move about a week ago together, and it became pretty apparent to me that Nancy had her arms around this pretty good. So tell us what you know, Nancy, about Make My Move.
Carol's already told you basically what. But the big thing that I learned, we decided to do some research and go around to some of the other communities that were in the program and checking with them. I was kind of thinking our program wasn't doing so good, and come to find out ours is flying high compared to a lot of the other neighborhoods. One neighborhood in 2 years has had 4 movers, and another one has had 5, I think. So they were really impressed with ours, and they think that we can make some tweaks to our program and maybe do a lot better. So we're looking at that in the next few weeks to maybe bring some suggestions for some changes. And one of the major changes has nothing to do with the ordinance at all. It's basically in the procedures that we do it, because the way that the program was set up before I took over, before a person gets an offer, they have to have almost everything submitted, except their proof of move, a proof that they've moved. And Make My Move thinks that we make ours a little too cumbersome, that if we will make that offer up front, let them know that you're welcome here, we want you here, here's an offer to come here, before they have to go to their HR department and get permission to leave and all of that stuff, that at least would get the word out there to a lot more people and maybe bring in a lot more people.
Nancy, we also had a discussion, or maybe Carol and I did, about, the idea for this was the remote workers.
Yes.
This was remote workers, but we've also had some discussions about, taking that moniker off, just for remote workers,
Well, the other thing that 18% of the people that are declined from our program is because they are self-employed. So that's one of the changes that we would like to bring to the commission to ask for, is that we accept a person that can prove that they are self-employed and can come to Paducah and do their work here. I've had one lady who is an author. She sells books on Amazon. She would like to come to Paducah. She's watching to see if we can get it changed so she can come. And I just talked to another person today that said that his words, something to the effect of, well, if I have to, he said, I do all kinds of work. If I have to get me a little remote job for a little while to qualify for the program, I can do that. But he's self-employed. So.
Yeah, so that's, so clearly you can see that Nancy's got her arms around the program pretty well. So, I think putting ourselves out there, making our community known, to people all over the United States. They go to the Make My Move website, they look at all these different communities, and making ourselves attractive, versus other communities is very important to us. And I think this kind of proves that Make My Move is working. We need to make some tweaks and hopefully make it work a little bit better. So.
I think I was beginning to think that it really wasn't working, because, as you said, we've had 4 and...
We had 6 the first year and 7 this past year.
And 16.
We have 16 offers out right now.
Okay.
And I think it's 7 applications I've had turned in this week.
Okay, so obviously it is working
we've-
comparatively speaking to other
Looking
communities.
at my numbers this morning, I've forgotten exactly, now I didn't write this down, but I think we've made offers to like about 35 or 40 people.
Okay.
And if we turned it the other way, where they didn't have to submit, I don't know that this would make a big difference, but if they have an offer and then they can, then they come, it wouldn't change anything as far as the documentation they have to provide for us.
Sure.
It would just let them know that they have an offer, they will get funding if they come to Paducah.
Yeah.
It may be more of an incentive to go ahead and do it than doing all of that stuff where they don't know if they're going to get an offer.
Exactly.
I got it, absolutely. Thank you.
One of the things we have set up in the system is, I'm not sure where the process happens, but there's a letter from me generated,
Right.
that is kind of personal.
Yes, there's 2 letters from you.
Just this last week, I've gotten 2 replies to my letter,
Yes.
saying, thank you, Mayor, I'm very impressed that you would send me a letter, so the program's pretty slick, the way you can set it up, and auto-generate some of these things, so.
Well, Mayor, if they're getting that kind of response just from a letter, I think you really ought to go visit. Give a personal invitation.
I give them my cell phone. I think that's enough. I haven't gotten a call yet, but I'm probably going to, so.
You may.
Well, thank you, Nancy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you very much for your work on this program. Thank you. Thank you, Carol. All right, City Clerk, please call roll.
Commissioner Henderson?
Aye.
Commissioner Smith?
Aye.
Mayor Bray?
Aye. Okay, we have one ordinance to introduce tonight, and it's a big one. And I'll just, we've been working on this for a long time, the Southside Revitalization Plan. And I know Carol Galt and her whole staff have worked very, very hard on this. And so I'll let the city clerk please read the ordinance, and then I'll invite Carol and Palmer to come up and talk about it.
A proposed motion of the Board of Commissioners to introduce an ordinance entitled, an ordinance establishing and approving the Southside Revitalization Plan, establishing and designating the Southside Program Area, and designating the Urban Renewal and Community Development Agency of Paducah with the authority to implement the plan and oversee the administration of the plan for the revitalization of the Southside Program Area. This ordinance is summarized as follows. This ordinance adopts the Southside Revitalization Plan as an addendum to the City of Paducah Comprehensive Plan. The development program area is located within the city and is hereby established and designated as the Southside Program Area. The Southside Program Area, as described in the plan, consists of 8 main neighborhoods: Walter Jeton, Uppertown, River Park, Cobb Park, Farley Place, Littleville, Dolly McNutt, and Elemental, and covers 3.3 square miles and contains 3,678 parcels of land.
So moved.
Second.
Carol, Palmer?
So I kind of feel like we should be turning cartwheels that we've gotten it to this point. We're pretty
There's
excited.
much room for you to do one.
Well, yeah. But
Don't, Palmer, don't.
Until it gets adopted.
Don't.
But before we get started, I think that the majority of our team is here tonight because everyone's anxiously anticipating this moment. So it's kind of been a big deal for us, just inside the department. We do have some things that Wes is going to hand out for you all that will continue to promote the South Side. And I'm going to turn it over to Palmer to talk about where we are and what comes next. But I think the biggest news that I have today is I met with CFSB. And they came back and they have agreed in the Phase 1 area to do up to 100% financing on single-family residential and on construction loans.
Wow.
That is huge.
It's huge. It's huge.
That's a real driver for the program.
That's
wonderful.
that's amazing.
We spent about an hour and a half with them this afternoon there at the bank and met with 3 bankers, and they're all on board. They'll be with us on August the 8th at the booth. They'll have their own booth, but they're going to start
Congratulations.
promoting that and doing all that. But we really felt like that was a really big deal. So I was excited to share that with you all tonight, and then Palmer's going to talk about all the other things that we have coming down the pipe.
Congratulations on that.
is
Palmer?
great. Absolutely.
Thank you, Carol. And thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Commissioners. I've thought about this day for a very long time, to say the least, and I know you all have as well. For the sake of brevity, I can't give you the entire context and history of our Southside project, but you all set the priority, and we've been working time and again throughout all this years at this point to do this research and this listening and these meetings and public hearings. And it is a surreal experience to move forward and be in front of you today. It really is. So I want to thank you all for setting this course for us in the first place. But to catch everybody up to speed on the most recent process with the plan, we've actually started the approval process going through a public hearing style with our Planning Commission and your CDA. When it comes to the actual documentation of this plan itself, on May 27th was the first draft that we released. Of course, it went to you all out for your review and reference, but it also went live to the public at the same time as well. So it's been on the city website since that day in May. Additionally, we sent out, in advance of our public hearing, individual postcard mailers to every individual address in the program area, and then some. If the property's owner's address is not identified as that actual piece of land in itself. So, in doing so, that was in preparation of a public hearing dedicated to the plan. Now, this is when the document is actually published itself. It's been available. Every other meeting and hearing that we've had and committee meeting, all has been in support of this documentation. But on Monday, June 9th, was the first public hearing dedicated to that plan draft. And we had a full house that night. We had over, I think, about 40 community members attend, and about 14 or 15 or so that actually filled out the cards and spoke. But we had even more conversations later that evening, just milling about connecting with residents, as opposed to everybody having to come and speak here in this style. In that time, since that meeting in Monday, June 9th, we took all of that feedback, all of the information and ideas that we heard on that night, and then we went back to rewriting the plan and revising and redrafting. And then that was then compiled into a new version that went once again before the Planning Commission and the URCDA on Monday, July 7th, earlier this month. At that meeting, there was a unanimous vote for a resolution for them to recommend that plan to you all here tonight. So that catches up to speed at this point. If we want to look at some other work in the meantime, elements that went into the plan, kind of changing that draft from version 1 to version 2, one of the things that we heard time and again through our review process, and especially that public hearing back in June, was the idea of representation and identifying key significant Southside stakeholders or residents or places or businesses, and finding a way to promote the history of the area and not just our specific housing document or plan. And so this has become something that's a new entry into the plan draft there called the I Am Southside Initiative. And this is an educational marketing campaign to give reverence to the Southside as a whole. So again, this is something that will promote not just our program area and our incentives and grants, but the Southside in of itself. And there's a couple examples throughout that plan there. One example being signage throughout the neighborhoods that, yes, say it's part of this plan, but also that they identify a notable Southside resident or location. And has a picture of them up there on a banner in the neighborhood with their name and their contribution to Paducah and its history. Other additions to that plan that we heard from residents during those meetings was just for the identification of possible collaborations or ongoing private development in the area, and so that was identified and placed into the plan as well. One thing that's been happening on the side outside of the actual plan itself was the actual housing inventory that our department has taken on. You might have seen an email and a letter come out from Pam about myself and then our planning intern Wes Banks going door to door, block by block through our entire program area. It's 1,061 parcels. And in this time, since the start of June, we have gone to 397 of them, completing out a form and taking a photo and then talking to residents along the way to 397 ones. So we haven't been out much this week because it's quite hot.
How's that gone, those 397 interactions?
It's so that's not exactly 397 people, but every person that we do run into, we try and have a conversation with. And I will invite Wes up here at this point. So he's been an incredible addition to our team and been incredibly helpful with this project. You might see Wes and myself out in our yellow shirts for the program, of which we have some Southside materials for you, of which inside this bag will be your very own Southside City staff shirt. If you'd like to volunteer at a couple different events or be present, we would love you all to join the team in another way. So there's also a Southside water bottle. There it is. So this is the volunteer staff uniform that Wes and I have when we're out in public.
That's great.
Going door to door. It's got the logo of the program, the one that's on the plan itself. So yeah, I would love to see you all out in them sometime. So
I love the motto or the I Am Southside. That's great. I think that resonates well with people. I didn't grow up on the South Side, but if I was a South Side person, that would resonate with me. I'm really proud of all the work that the staff's put into this, and definitely I'm willing to take an afternoon and get out with you and I grew up selling, and so it's like making sales calls. So
for sure, it is a bit odd sometimes walking up, but there's going to be a lot more opportunities in addition just to the structure inventory. That's a mapping program where we have an iPad and we're taking data and taking photos, and then just whatever references we get from people, we include that as well. And we're going to have a interactable map of the area, and it shows it as a complete snapshot in time. Beyond that, there's going to be a lot more opportunities to be involved with people and talking to people, and I have that coming up on a slide here. But when it comes to next steps, first we have first reading of the ordinance here tonight. We have Tuesday, August 12th as the second reading. But afterwards, after the tentative adoption date, when that is, the first thing that you're going to expect to see come back to you are the actual incentives themselves. It's a separate ordinance from the actual plan document itself. But that's the immediate thing that we've been working with, that we've been reviewing with legal, that will then come back for y'all's adoption.
So are you, you're going to be ready with the incentives as soon as we finish with the adoption of the ordinance?
We want to make sure that we turn them in, legal has them, we want to make sure the verbiage is correct. And then we'll send them to the city manager's office and get the thumbs up from the city manager's office. And then once we get all that back, then yes.
That's what people are waiting for,
Absolutely, and we realize that.
you know.
But it has to be done in a separate step, and
Yeah, I understand. Okay. Just as long as we're on track.
I know, I'm eager to, I really am. So, but yeah, that's the first thing you can kind of expect when it comes to hard programming. Other style of engagement, though, as Carol mentioned, we'll have a booth at the August 8th celebration, which will be on Saturday, August 9th. However, we're also going to have our own city-led kickoff party. So this is something that would be after the final adoption of the plan. We've identified a few locations that we're considering, but this would just be a fun, good time show of faith of the city, you know, adopting this plan and making this long-term investment to the region. So it will be something as simple as, you know, food and games and music. And people, if they want to learn about the program, they'll have access to it there. You will see the examples of the sling bags and the water bottles and Southside Frisbees and all the fun stuff too, that people can take home. We'll have prizes and raffles. It's something that happened in previous plans, and it's not the most serious thing in the world, but I'm excited for it. And it's something I think that we can do over time in different style of events going forward, continually throughout the length of the program. When it comes to actual assistance, though, when it comes to those incentives and the actual programming itself, we're going to have an actual educational workshop series of multiple events that we're trying to identify in the region, whether at a public space. We also really want to partner with the churches in this regard of getting our information out and as accessible to people as possible. In addition to working with developers and realtors and having them disseminate information as well. One thing I also would consider is increased accessibility here in City Hall for potential office hours for the actual program in of itself. We are open and available to talk to people anytime they have questions about it, and I don't want City Hall or a department being someplace that's foreign to them. When it comes to heightened marketing, we will be relying through our actual city channels and social media pages, but one recommendation of this is to diversify how we communicate about the program in of itself. And that is something that can be done through the own program-specific social media. With its own, possible Facebook page, for example, and its own, email chain. But another old-fashioned version that we are going to do as well is actually a quarterly newsletter, an actual print document that recaps the progress in the region or different opportunities, and send that out to that same mailing list that we've been able to utilize before when it came to that public hearing. And so that's something that I'd be excited to have. So.
Question, when you go door to door, are we making an attempt to get people signed up on our email distribution list?
We have that information there. And one thing to come out of this as well is after the incentives are in place to have a specific door-to-door campaign actually about the program, because we don't have an actual application for them to give right now. So that's something we will be able to do more aggressively going forward. So, additionally, there would be neighborhood signage throughout the region as well, denoting the neighborhood itself, but also its place in the actual program as well. And then there's that door-to-door neighborhood campaign. So that's the kind of, big picture moving forward, after the adoption of the plan. But right now, it's the first introduction. I am very happy to be here tonight, and then I'm very eager to hear what you all have to say now. So.
Well, I'm particularly excited to listen to the plans that you all have. Kudos to Planning Department, to you, and to the entire team for the hard work, apparent hard work that you all have put into the whole revitalization plan. And I would be interested, when you do some door-to-door stuff, I'd be interested in going and hanging out with you. I have now 2 good feet, and so I can walk for days.
Well, good. Well, that's good to
Okay,
hear.
so
Thank
I'm
you.
excited about that, but I do want to, I'm interested in your plans. I know we've got a lot of plans, but as we move forward, what is the plan to make sure that you stay connected to the residents and to kind of make sure that we're going in the direction that they want to go into?
One thing that I think that really stands out in our plan is how we have kept it open to change and for it to be improved upon over time. And the point being that I want this to be something that, people can read and they understand exactly what the city's doing now. But as we start to see the progress one way or the other over time, that we have continued dialogues with people, continued meetings that are saying, hey, we're at this benchmarker here. How are people feeling?
Right.
It's not just our own metrics, which are lined out there. It's, X number of homes built per year. But as a way to actually continue this kind of conversation. So I would very much envision that it's more public meetings at certain milestones to just, again, have those smaller, more intimate conversations with people and not just adopt the plan and then move on.
Right.
It's not that whatsoever. So, and to that point, if something isn't working, I would want this to be something that is be able to be changed. So it'd be an amendment to the plan, something to change it moving forward. So.
Yeah, I'd just say kudos again, because I do think that y'all have listened and you've gathered a lot of information, and I've seen you pivot on some things, and I think that you're really doing this with the residents and the city's best interests at heart, and I appreciate that very much. So, and I'd be happy to help wherever I can too, so.
Thank you very much.
If I may say one more thing, one of the things that the last meeting that we had here in the chambers, a lot of the residents brought up a lot of stuff, and one of the things that I was interested in, after the fact, of course, was what we can do to make sure that things don't get so out of hand financially that when a resident from the South Side passes away, that their family members can't come back and actually afford to move back on the South Side. And I know that we haven't done that. It was mentioned, and I think we've talked about it briefly, but I would like to see more discussion about what we could do. And obviously I have no idea what we could do.
So it's interesting that you brought that up. One of the things in the meeting with the bankers today brought up the fact of legacy properties and how they're inherited and how we can work to educate families and members of the community that it grows wealth. That's really owning your own home and how that works, but get into a position to be able to do that. And that was the conversation that we had today. And I know there's some education components that they're willing to step forward and bring forward. They talked about having quarterly meetings. We also talked about hosting a luncheon with the pastors to make sure that they know that there's so many churches in that Southside area, as you well know, that their congregations, but not everybody attends church, or they may not attend on the South Side.
Right.
So again, we pivot back to those community meetings like we're going to have, and just be accessible to people.
All right, okay, thank you.
If that helps you.
Yes, ma'am. I just want to make sure that it stays in the front of our minds.
Yeah, I think communication is a real key, and that's why I brought up this email thing, and maybe that's not the right, but most everybody, not everybody, but most everybody has an email address and access to an email. And so making sure that, number one, they're signed up on the city's email, and then maybe we could provide a subgroup email list for people who qualify in those those 1,000 parcels of land as we go out there and look. So I think we just have to think about ongoing communication, and really now is the time to do that, because we're going to have lots of things going and we want people to know about that. We want to create excitement. We want to create engagement interest from people, that's the key to getting things done. So, people at home, see something happen, I didn't know anything about that. Nobody told me. Oh, it's, you can't go door to door for everything that we're going to do, but we have to create some way to engage with people. So,
And to that point, I absolutely agree. But then you also get the folks that, well, I don't have the email or I don't use the Facebook or et cetera. And so that's why I really want this to be as accessible as possible and clear and consistent across many different communication channels, such as email, such as social media, ones dedicated to the program in of itself, but also, old school paper as well, sending things to people
Yeah.
directly. And so this is such a big deal. And it is something to be excited about too. But I would not blame a single person for raising an eyebrow or having questions or not getting the full picture just yet. But I do know us as staff are completely dedicated to answering those questions and having those conversations with people. So
I'm just going to say one more thing about communication. Maybe everybody doesn't have an email, but I'll bet everybody's got a cell phone.
Yeah.
And everybody's got, a cell number. And there's a concept of group text, and so let's put the thinking caps on and make sure that we're thinking about every way that we can communicate with people. So,
okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Group me or something. Yeah, absolutely. And
Okay.
I'm glad that you're going to be at the 8th of August activities, and that is going to absolutely be a good place to unveil, I should say, some of the plans for the South Side.
very good, folks.
All
Thank you
right.
very much.
Thank you all.
Thank you, thank
And
you.
once again, I will always thank and congratulate our team. I see Angela and Wes back there, and Carol, thank you very much, Nancy as well, and then Josh, who's on vacation, and then Morgan in our office right now too. I cannot thank the planning department nearly enough for all of their hard work. It's not just myself, not just Carol. Every single person in this department has helped carry this in some way. And as always, I can't thank the community enough for all of their input and all of the people that I've gotten to meet working on this project. Really, I could not imagine this life for me, this kind of work, and I am thankful to you all for this opportunity in doing this for Paducah. So thank you for today.
Thank you.
Thank you, Palmer. You're very fortunate to be working on a good team.
I am. Thank you all.
Okay, that's all we have to deal with ordinances, and now we have a discussion, and I'll turn it over to our city clerk, Lindsay Parrish, and talk about how we believe that we can strengthen engagement in the community through compensation on our boards and commissions.
Thank you. So Mayor Bray came to me several months ago and asked that we do some research on compensating board members for our boards and commissions in the city, and what that could look like, and which ones we can and cannot. And so we did a lot of research on that over several months, and so we're back with a discussion for tonight. So for tonight, the main purpose is to give you an overview of our current board situation, what boards we do pay, what we don't, what we can, what we cannot do, talk about our current policies and some recommended policies, and then get guidance from you all on next steps. So as an overview, we currently have 32 boards and commissions actively in Paducah, and that has over 200 appointed members to those boards right now. Those appointment sources vary. Some are all city-appointed boards, some are jointly appointed with the county, and then we also have ex officio members on boards. And the time commitment of your average board member varies anywhere between 1 meeting a year to 12 meetings a year, just depending on the board, the time that they have to put in for community engagement and training. So So some of the benefits that we've seen when I've been researching other places that compensate boards, it is a good way to recognize the time that it takes and the expertise that we're asking for on these boards. Some boards are available for any member of the public who has an interest. Others really take a lot of time training, expertise in a certain area, even professional experience in certain areas. So it's a good way to recognize that. It improves our recruitment and our retention of board members. So it keeps people wanting to serve. It encourages accountability and engagement. So when someone knows that the payment is going to be dependent on a per meeting basis, it encourages them to show up and to participate and engage in those meetings. And then it also promotes equity and inclusion. Some people who may not otherwise be able to participate could now potentially participate if there is some kind of stipend. It can go toward transportation costs, childcare costs, or the amount of costs that they would be sacrificing at a job where they would be spending the time serving on the board. We looked at other cities and how they compensate boards and commissions, and of course it varies greatly from city to city. But most cities that are paying their board members use a per meeting stipend to encourage attendance. Common rates that we've seen vary anywhere from $25 to $75 per meeting per member. But you will see utility and regulatory boards often receiving higher stipends, some up all the way to $300. So it varies greatly from city to city and board to board. Some cities do set annual caps, and then there are some caps that are set by state statute. To that end, this is kind of the current landscape of boards that are currently already being compensated. So our electric plant board, it's $2,400 annually. They serve anywhere from 12 to 24 meetings per year. Their standard meetings are twice a month, and that is paid through Paducah Power, and that is all set up through state KRS. We have several others listed here, such as assessment appeals that is paid through McCracken County and the state. Planning Commission is one, and URCDA are one that we pay as the City of Paducah. They receive $50 for their chairperson and $30 per member per meeting. And then Joint Sewer Agency has a payment, and so do our two 911 boards that are paid out of our 911 fund, and that's $200 per member, and that is set through our ordinance and ILAs with the county. So the boards that are currently eligible for compensation but are not currently being paid are listed here. So there's several, as you can see. And these are all boards that are city appointment only boards. So there's no joint appointments with the county. And so these are ones that are typically going to be set by city ordinance, where we have the right to amend those city ordinances to allow for compensation.
What's the criteria? What makes a board eligible?
So it would be eligible if it is up to the city to be able to set that rate. It would not be eligible if it says in state statute that they are not allowed to receive compensation, or if it says in their bylaws, something we can't change on their behalf, that they would not be allowed to receive compensation.
So potentially all of our city boards.
Potentially all but a few. So there are a few that are not currently eligible under KRS. And so
Okay, it's
the
on the next
airport,
page.
the Golf Commission, both of those, KRS says that we're not allowed to compensate them. Same with Convention Center, Riverport Authority, Senior Citizens, IDA. Our GIS consortium is a little bit unique, as that is set by interlocal agreement, and it's all really staff people
Yeah.
that serve. So it's a little unique. Forest Hills also kind of unique, as they are a nonprofit organization that have their own bylaws that set those. So, and all of these, for the most part, that are set by KRS as joint, it's a KRS thing that they wouldn't be allowed to be compensated. A few policy considerations that I wanted to bring up tonight. Ex officio and staff member payments. So ex officio simply means that they are serving on the board by virtue of their office. So some of those are voting members, some are non-voting. You each serve on different boards as ex officio members. The recommendation would be to not pay any ex officio members and to also not pay any staff members that are currently serving on boards, since City Commission is compensated through state constitution and has some specific requirements, and staff members are compensated through our position and pay schedule. Payment structure, we are recommending a per meeting stipend like we've seen in other places. Administrative tracking, we would need to work through how we were going to identify and track attendance. So that could either be done a couple of different ways, where the primary staff person is in charge of tracking that attendance every time, like what we currently do for Planning Commission, URCDA, or it could be something where a board would have to submit their minutes to the clerk's office to show attendance and then be reimbursed for that, be paid for those attendance. And then financial logistics, we would have to work through some things like occupational taxes. So right now, if you are receiving more than $600, occupational taxes would kick in. Under the planning ordinance, Planning Commission and URCDA are exempt from that. So it would be up to you all if you wanted to exempt all board members from that or not. And then each member, we'd have to set them up as a vendor in the system, and then there would be some other requirements for 1099 reporting, and setting them up with electronic transfers to receive those payments. So when we talk about budgetary impact, there is no set amount that we would have to go with. So this is where we would be looking for direction from you all. If you are interested in pursuing this, this is just a couple of examples. So if you wanted to pay $75 per member per meeting and $100 per chairperson per meeting, you're looking at a total annual cost of about $110,000 to the city. That is a net increase, since we currently pay some of those boards, a net impact of $89,000. If you wanted to go with more of the planning and URCDA model, where $50 for the chairperson and $30 per member, you're looking at an annual cost around $56,000 and a net increase of $35,000. And then as far as implementation, if this is something that the commission is interested in pursuing, we would have to draft the ordinances. It's several, each one of those boards has its own ordinance. So it would take probably about a month to draft up either one over-encompassing ordinance that makes all of those changes, or individual ordinances to come back before you. And then it would take 2 readings to pass that. There would be, the board notifications, vendor and EFT setup, and then we would have to finalize the tracking mechanism and do some training for our staff. All of that would take probably a few months to fully accomplish, so we would want to set a goal of a January 1st implementation. And with that, any questions and then any discussion that you all would have?
I'm going to turn it over to the other 2 commissioners, because I've been involved with this from the beginning. Questions, comments?
I like it conceptually. I'm just, I guess if I have a concern, it would be, there's a lot of effort on the back end that you don't see, other than paying the individuals, but a lot of tracking, a lot of labor involved with, keeping tabs on all that. And I don't know if it'd be a distraction, or, there's also a cost involved in maintaining that, whether it be, I'm just making up $20,000 a year and managing that. So just, that's something to keep in mind.
I think initially, it would be a pretty heavy lift to get it off the ground and to get it, started and implemented with our staff. I think once it is, and once people are trained, it would become pretty repetitive. I currently take care of payments for the 911 parcel fee, and that piece of the staff work is very minimal at this point.
Thank you.
I think it, go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, please.
I think it's a pretty good move. I think it will promote and do all the things that we wanted to do. It will quality board members, perhaps better participation, all those things. So I think it's a win-win to move in that direction.
Yeah, I've, as you all know, I mean, I've been involved with board appointments for going on 5 years now. And so we're in the process right now looking for the right person for the
Housing.
housing authority, thank you. And so sometimes it's hard to find the right person for the right board. And I think that, you know, in talking with other mayors and other cities and knowing people that get compensated, even as little as $50 or $75 or whatever, it does increase engagement.
Yeah.
And it makes them more, you know, attentive, you know, to make sure that they attend the board meetings and they understand. They just feel like that it's something that they're responsible to do now. And so all the costs, which, you know, Commissioner Smith brings up, I mean, there is a cost, you know, to sending somebody, or, you know, I guess we'll set up auto pay through a checking account if people will allow us to do that. Is that what we do with the 911 board?
It is, and we would recommend doing like an EFT transfer for
Right.
those.
So that's pretty easy. So once it gets set up, it's kind of automatic, but still somebody's got to make sure it's done right. And we're not, you know, sending people money when they don't earn it, you know,
Right.
so. But I think you have to balance all that against the increased engagement. And,
Benefit.
and I'll just say this about boards. I mean, when I ran for election the first time, I believed this, and I'm going to double down on it. The boards that we have out there, the 32 of them, they set policy in the direction of the city. I mean, they make so much difference in our city, in all the different boards, whether it be the, you know, the electric board, the water board, the creative and cultural council, you know, anything, people that are engaging out there in the community, you know, they're setting the tone for the city. And so the appointments are important, and making sure they're engaged is important, from my standpoint, so. With your permission, you know, what I'd like to do is to move forward and work with the city clerk and the city manager to construct an ordinance. And my recommendation is $75 per meeting and $100 per meeting for the chairman. Right. And I think that, you know, it's a net increase of $90,000 in budget, but I think the return on that will be, it'll take a while for it to, you know, for it to dig in and make a difference, but I think it'll make a difference.
I support that.
So with your all's blessing, you know, we will move forward, and of course I'll keep our other two commissioners that weren't here up to date on it. I've actually talked to them; they're very supportive. So
do we need a motion to do that now, or just?
No,
Yes.
I will take that and we will get that worked up and we'll bring it back for your approval.
Okay. Yeah.
okay, thank you, Lindsay, for all your hard work on this. When I got reelected in January, the first thing I did was sit down with Lindsay and say, these are like 6 things I'd like to, you know, think about us working on, you know. And so it's taken a while because we got lots of things going on, but I really appreciate all the hard work you put in behind the scenes. It means a lot to all of us, so.
Appreciate that.
Okie dokie, this is not a factor, okay, and comments from our city manager.
None this evening, Mayor.
Comments from our two commissioners.
Not for me.
I just want to highlight the success for our community gardens, or garden, I should say. I mean, it's vegetables everywhere, all over the place.
Where are they?
Well, we've already given them away.
It has been quite a growing year for gardens.
Yeah, it's doing real well, and I think this Saturday, the Paducah Diversity Board will have youth out at the garden.
That's awesome.
And they'll be learning about food insecurities and, you know, the whole nine yards. So it's.
Healthy foods, healthy foods.
Healthy foods. Right.
That was a great idea you had, Commissioner.
Well, I get one at least once a year.
That was really good. And you really promoted that and made it a reality, so that's. great.
Angie and I stopped by there, I guess a couple of weeks ago, you know, and kind of overwhelmed, you know, and then we snapped a picture and sent it to, you know, my friend, Dr. Mila, who was in town. I don't know if you remember meeting him. He's from Tanzania in Africa, you know, and because he was kind of involved when he was our guest that day, so it was pretty awesome, so.
And we would be remiss if we didn't acknowledge Reverend Joe Warren at the Church of the
Absolutely.
Living God. He is our garden captain, and he keeps everything and everybody on task.
Yes.
So he is the reason that it's making it.
Yeah, absolutely. Okey dokey. We good, Commissioner Smith?
Yes, sir.
Okay. We have no executive session, so I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Call roll.
Commissioner Henderson,
Aye.
Commissioner Smith,
Aye.
Mayor Bray.
Aye.